Basically, Ghana has had some sort of market structure reforms, and the regulatory frameworks that has always governed these market reforms had over the years encountered some challenges. And one of the basic challenges, that the first one, where we had the scenario with the state-owned enterprises mainly dominating the market, it was kind of difficult to regulate the market, because as a state-owned enterprise, how do we have another state entity also regulating the state-owned enterprise? But currently we are having new developments where we have the independent power producers coming in, and so it's much more easier to implement the regulation. And the other bit too is for the setting of rates. Most often government tries to ensure that there's the public service obligations which are carried out, and therefore most of the distribution companies cannot really increase their rates to the extent that they can recoup their investment. So there's some sort of challenges in terms of people coming in to invest. Those are the basic challenges that we've been having with the regulation. The very first one would have to be with the emerging trend of having renewables into our market structure. We don't have, I dare to say, although we have the 2011 Renewable Act, but we don't have, the Act is not capable of dealing with the off-grid regulation. So that is something we will be faced with very soon, because we have people coming out with solar panels, and then the question will be, when I'm able to generate for myself and there's an excess, how do I also sell off to the grid? We don't have that kind of regulation. And once again, coming back to the issue of rates, yes, we still have the issue about rates and ensuring that those living in deprived areas are able to access electricity. So basically those are. Well, for that, I would say we are getting there, but not that fast as other countries are doing, and because definitely we're able to connect some sort of the transportation and then the other industry, and then we don't have the heating aspect, we would have the cooling aspects for buildings. So we would have people who are able to have solar panels, able to service their cooling in their houses, as well as also be able to use it for the cooking. And even if it's an industry, if they're able to cool their buildings, they can also use it to in their production of their materials or products. But in terms of transportation, that is a tricky one. We will get there, hopefully, where we would have electric cars coming in. Hopefully in the next, we'll give ourselves 20 years is a good target. Oh yes, Ghana currently has one of the best environment for foreign investment, I dare say. The reason being that we have the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, which is the one-stop shop for most people, foreign investors coming in. So if you do register with these center, the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, they make available the opportunities or the incentives which you can access. A typical one is the Free Zone. Under the Free Zone Act, a foreign investor can access incentives to the extent of having 10 years tax-free holiday, which is very good. And particularly since Ghana is now looking more into renewables, any investor that comes in for renewables also accesses the feed-in tariffs, which is for 10 years, renewable 2 years. So yes, it's very great in terms of foreign investments coming in, particularly for legal angle. If you're talking about expropriation or nationalization, hardly would you find that. And even if that should happen, there's always going to be compensation paid. Yeah. What I would say is, since Ghana's objective now is to look into the renewable industry, that is a viable environment for them to look into, and considering the numerous incentives, they should, and they are more than welcome. And the government is also willing to assist them, so they should, and we are looking forward to receiving them actually in Ghana. Thank you.